Hi, I'm Tom Richardson for BoatingLocal, and today I'm in the historic city of Bath, Maine, on the banks of the Kennebec River. Now, Bath offers a lot of things to do and see for the visiting boater, both on land in town here and on the river itself. We're going to take a little tour of the river with Captain Ed Rice of River Run Tours and find out more about Bath, Maine. I met Rice at the Kennebec Marina in downtown Bath, where he docks his stable, roomy, 25-foot pontoon boat. From this location, Rice can offer a variety of tour options, and on this morning we decided to head upriver toward Marymeeting Bay and check out some of the river's historic sites.
The boat is a 2005 G3 LX3, which is a 3 pontoon, a little unique to pontoons that it uses U-shaped pontoons rather than round. And that really helps you if you get into 2-3 foot seas. It gives people plenty of room to walk around. I can have all 6 customers go from one side of the boat to the other, and it doesn't even tip. It's just very, very stable. Full speed on this boat is about 32 knots, which is pretty fast for this size boat. And other than that, it's got 4 gates, so I can dock in pretty much any current in any direction. And it's got a swimming ladder on the rear and plenty of storage. Again, I can't say enough about the boat. People sometimes want to see lighthouses and the ocean and lobsters, lobster buoys and lobster boats, but many people want to see the inside of Maine. They want to go upriver, they want quiet, they want to see birds, osprey, eagles, seals. They just want to see the backwoods of Maine from the water. This is the Bath Marine Railway, and back up until probably 1910, it stood right there. You can see that, some of the same features here. If the tide was a little lower, we'd see it a little better. From Truffin Point in Bath, south to about a half a mile past the Bath Ironworks, at one time there were 30 to 40 shipyards. And what you're seeing here is the remnants of the past. It's rumored that up to 85% of the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6-masted schooners and clippers built in North America came from this section of river. And I think the reason being was we had 165 miles of river to float the logs down and almost an endless supply of wood to feed the sawmills and the people that were building the ships down here. That's what made Bath such a popular shipbuilding destination. The Texas and Houston Steamship Company was, and that's what you're looking at right here, this long open space. That turned into Stinson Seafood, a canning company that canned herring fish, and it closed 10 years ago and burnt 5 years ago through some kids playing with matches or whatever they were doing. It was one of the worst fires in Bath's history, but that's where it was. This is the North Boat Launch Facility. This has been here for a long time, probably 35 years, and they built another one down at the south end of town.
So they have
approximately 10 years ago.
So they've got pretty good boating access for recreational boaters here.
Very good, very good. Bath has got plenty of access to launch and to bring the boats out. And downtown we've got plenty of dock space, and they've got a beautiful new park that they just built. They've done a lovely job with it.
Is it free?
The dock space, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's free to launch, free to park.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Doesn't cost a cent, and pretty much everything downtown is within walking distance of the dock. So it's really a great place to boat. This was the Bath landing of Day's Ferry. Day's Ferry came from Woolwich on Old Kings Highway, predecessor to Route 1, and it left Day's Ferry over on those flat rocks across the river, which we'll see in a minute, and it landed here on these flat rocks. And then in the winter, when there was a lot of ice that was coming down the river, getting in the way of landing at these flat rocks, there was a second landing just north, and you can see that it's man-made when we get up there a little closer.
As we negotiated the narrow stretch of river known as the Chops, the water boiling and swirling around us, we sighted our first bald eagle of the day. Oh yeah, look at that.
bad too. They won't be far.
Soon we passed Lines Island and the remains of the Booth Bay Boys Camp dining hall. The camp closed in the 1960s, but the building stood until 2009 when it had to be torn down for safety reasons.
This is what used to be called Broca's Mills, and it burnt back in 1840 or so. There was a bad fire in Woolwich. But this is the dam, and it was one of the first up and down sawmills where the paddle wheel wouldn't matter which direction it's going. The up and down saws didn't care. It would cut anyway. So you can see rocks to both sides, and that section in the middle is a great big old oak tree that's got square holes in it where the pegs or the spindles for the paddle wheel went. And it's still laying there, and it's still all in one piece. Yeah, the river, the Kennebec River is a long and it's a powerful river, and once a month, and some months worse than others, you have to watch out for the real high tides. The high tides coupled with the high runoffs move a lot of debris, and the river can be full of debris, and some of it's very large and floating just at the surface or just below the surface. Luckily with this particular boat, I've got the center pontoon that's directly in front of the motor. So I can run over a log, and as long as I can ride over it, the motor's never going to touch it. So I don't have to be as careful as some of the other boaters have to be. But a lot of people have lost outdrives and lost props and whatever on this river just from floating debris.
Yeah, so keep a lookout.
Well, the seals are up here because there's so many fish in this section of the river. This is where the Marymeeting Bay area flows out into the main stream of the Kennebec. And although it's unusual to see a lot of seals in water that's pretty much 50-50 salt and, it's brackish water. There's a lot of fresh water here. These seals have adapted pretty well, and I guess that the eating's good enough so that they can put up with it. But traditionally, they're always up here half tide or on the outgoing tide, mainly in the late afternoon, sunning themselves. But this is usually a guaranteed sighting for my customers. This is Merrymeeting Bay, and it's what makes it unique, I guess, is it's a confluence of 6 rivers, which only happens, I'm told, 2 places in the United States, one in Alabama and one here. The Androscoggin River comes in right over here around this corner. The Muddy River is the next one that comes in just south of Brick Island. And then the Cadhance River, which comes down through from Topsom and Bodenham, comes in here just to the north of Brick Island. Swan Island is just up at the other end of the bay, and that's a very popular game preserve. But this is just, it's beautiful. It's waterfowl haven. It's duck hunters haven in the winter, and it's some of the best sunsets that you can see in the area can be seen from right here. It's a good destination for a picnic or just people that want to see a beautiful spot of Maine.
From Marymeeting Bay, we headed back down river to explore the waters south of Bath, as well as the town itself. We'll show you that in part 2 of our Bath video series. I'm Tom Richardson for Boating Local. Thanks for watching.